3, 2.
This week we give you all the details about Google's new social play, Google+. We break down Spotify's Coming to America. We take a close look at Skype and Facebook's partnership with the new chat thing that they're doing. And we celebrate the end of an era with the final shuttle launch. All this week on Tech Weekly.
Tech Weekly, episode 53. Nick didn't change the time, so I don't know what day it is. It's 11 o'clock, and it's the 9th.
7,
Yeah.
9, 11.
Good stuff, Nick. That's the way to put it back.
So how you guys doing today?
We got Carlo on the line, too.
Yeah, Carlos joining us from theteenagehackers.com and
Man
twitter.com
Cave.
/ Carlo Brown. Oh,
So,
the new... okay, I got you.
Wait. Oh, let me get over here.
Yeah.
And boom!
Boom,
Wait.
there we go.
There it is. It's
Yeah.
Carlo!
So you guys have probably noticed we changed the setup around again.
Oh, yeah.
But I think this is for final this time. We actually got it where we want it, and I think I need to...
After we rotated the desk like 1080,
yeah,
it was great.
yeah, and like toward
I'm all
apart.
backwards on there.
And Jacob just got a new chair 5 minutes before the show started. $15
Oh, yeah.
at a
And
yard
it's
sale.
slightly warm, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was because it was sitting out in the sun.
Yeah.
But,
Anyway, one more thing. I've
It
been
could be
mentioning
something else.
yes.
Oh.
Maybe somebody was using the chair at the... Okay, sorry.
I have been mentioning this on Twitter. We are going to change up the format of Tech Week a little bit. So we only have 4 stories, but we have a massive amount of links. So to get all these, you need to head over to pbcasttv.com once this is posted to get those links. So let's move on to our first story here. Google Plus. This is actually last week, and for you guys that didn't know, we didn't do a show last week, but Google Plus launched in private beta. It was invite only beta, and then throughout the week last week, the invites were actually closed and reopened, and closed and then reopened. And my dad got in through one of the back doors, I guess you would say. Like you could email them, Carlo. I think you got a couple people in like this. You could email
but
them. Like if
you
Yeah.
basically share a post or something.
Yeah. If you like added them to your circle.
Yeah, they get notified that, hey, blah, 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 whatever. They added you, and then you go in there and do it.
So is that
That
how
was
you?
one of the back doors. The
That's what I
back door I
got.
used
Yeah.
was to share a post and then put that person's email address and just share that
Oh,
with that
okay.
one person.
Yeah.
And then they would get something saying, someone has shared a post with you, click here to comment or whatever, and then it comes up with the login screen, you go in and you got Google+.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it went. But somehow my dad got in after they said that it was closed and stuff. But everybody has been wanting to get in. And are they still open? They're not open anymore.
The invites keep coming and going.
Yeah. I
It's
remember.
not right now, it's not there. It was there yesterday for a
Yeah.
while, now it's gone again.
And then like Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday, sometime like that. I think it was Wednesday because we were watching Chatterbox, right?
Yeah, it was Wednesday night. I
yeah.
sent one to Ron Likes, he got his on Thursday.
Yeah.
Sent
So-
a couple of others out afterwards, and they went through about a day later, and now they're closed again.
Yeah. So for the most part, I think a lot of our viewers are on there. I know I got Smoothie in. I think I did. I got Linux Lifer in, or I sent him an invite. I don't know if he got in, but that's been the main thing. A lot of people have been saying is how is this going to compete with Facebook and Twitter because not all my friends are on here. But I feel like my core group of people that I follow on Twitter are on Google Plus already, and I'm kind of treating it as a third social network right now. It has replaced Facebook in a way for me, in the fact that I don't go to Facebook near as much anymore. But it's still not completely. It doesn't serve the purpose of Facebook, but it's still,
I think for me, Facebook's climbed to third spot, and Google Plus is in second spot, when Twitter's still
Yeah.
number one for me.
That's kind of how it is for me because Twitter, and it's kind of a different thing, and I've wanted to kind of mention this is, well, for one thing, Google Plus is in Facebook, it's kind of like Facebook in the way that there's no limit to what you can, there's no character limit or whatever, so I've seen Robert Scoble type almost like a blog post as one of his. But I think it's cool in that way because, it keeps your stream. They have pretty good stream management and, kind of collapsing the posts and stuff so it doesn't get all up in everything. And throughout the week this week, there's been a bunch of different announcements coming in with Google Plus, and I actually read a stat. I think Read Write Web put out there, and they said that 35% of all tech news this week was Google Plus. So, or it was either Google Plus or something pertaining to Google Plus, which was kind of weird. But so one of the first bigger announcements that they made is that they're going to phase out support for, Picasa and Blogger are going to kind of turn into Google Plus in a way. So Picasa, they're using Picasa Web Albums to be their backend for like all their photo sharing and stuff, which I think is pretty cool. And one of the things I've seen that a lot of people have been using Google Plus for is Google Plus is more of a photo. It's kind of a really nice alternative to say Flickr for photo sharing. Because I've never liked Facebook that much for photo sharing because it always downgrades your images, and I've always liked Picasa Web Albums, and bringing that into Google Plus, I think that is a really good fusion between two social networks, Google Plus and then Picasa Web Albums.
Yeah, and also the other thing you got to look at also with the Android app, and I think they got an iOS app now.
They don't yet. It's coming out. They've been tested. I think it's
the Android app. It has this thing called InstaShare. So basically, what happens when you take a picture with your camera, you can tell it to do it or not. So you can opt out of it if you don't want to do it. But when you take a picture with your camera, it automatically uploads that to a private album in your Picasa Web Albums. Nobody can see it except you. But then it's integrated in with your Google Plus so that you can instantly share those at any given time anywhere that you're logged in with your Google Plus. So if I took a picture of my phone, I could come up on the desktop if I wanted to do a more in-depth post or something that might require some other links I want to copy and paste. I have that picture sitting there ready to share, and it's already like linked over to my Google Plus, and I just say share it
in a private.
Nobody can publicly see those, but I think it was pretty cool because
they do it with video too, and I think that's pretty cool in the way that like if I'm going to share a Y-Frog image, for example, or a twit pic, I have to sit there and watch the progress bar. And like by the time that I switch over, let's just say I take it with a camera, the camera app or whatever on iOS when it comes to iOS is almost by the time I get into the Google Plus app, as long as I don't share it from the gallery, it's already uploaded, which I think is pretty cool. I'm not quite sure how they're doing that so quickly. Maybe I don't know. Maybe. Anyhow, I do like the instant upload, and I also like the fact that they let you opt out of it because it's kind of scary when you go in there and you see all your pictures that you've taken in the last 30 days or whatever, or ever since you started using Google Plus in your instant upload. And
I think I would turn that off, to be honest. I'm not too comfortable with it.
Yeah, and they have the option to turn it off, but I think it was kind of like
it's like a feature almost. And
yeah, it asks you when you're setting it up on your Android phone, do you want to turn on this instant upload thing? And you can say no, and then just upload them whenever you do. It still has the option to share your pictures to Google Plus, which then uploads to your share folder so that you can share them. But I don't know. I think it was kind of cool.
The iOS one's supposed to be more or less identical, so I expect it will be the same thing.
Now, Jeff has some screenshots of the Android app you can pull up there in a second. But Joey is mentioning in the chat room, I was wrong. And I know that they have this feature that Facebook, you can upload your high-resolution pictures. They do have an option for that.
Yeah, they have that.
But I never do it because, like he's saying, it takes a really long time. And Picasa Web Albums has always been like a second to me, like other than Flickr, because it's just been such a nice... I've always loved Picasa for photo sharing. Have you not? I've liked it, Jeb. I think you were a pretty big user of it as well. And the sync with Android is really nice. That's one of the things that's really won me over to Google Plus is because there's so many. They did a really nice job integrating Google Plus into the gallery and stuff for instant upload, which I would kind of expect that considering it's Google making the product and stuff. But can you head over to the screenshots here? Let's show.
Let me head over to the screenshots here.
And I think this will give us a pretty decent look at what the iOS app is looking like. And I sent out a message on Twitter that had a link to the iOS app. They had actually started testing it, so it is running.
What I'd like them to put into the iOS one, even the Android one, you have just about every phone out there now has got the front-facing camera. there's quite a lot of them that allow you to do the Hangouts, just like because on Skype you can have your video on there. So I'd like them to put the Hangouts in there so I could do a Hangout on my iPhone or something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be neat. Kind of like FaceTime, but like with Google.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I like
someone's
that.
doing a Hangout and I can't necessarily get in front of a computer and just grab my phone and do it.
If you could do that with the phone, I think Google has the infrastructure to make it work right.
yeah.
Like, because the only other options that, because when we've tried it before with you streaming to Justin.tv, for example, when you were at CES, it would be pretty cool if I was in studio right here and you could just FaceTime me and get a pretty decent video picture quality, and I could pipe all my audio back to you and everything, and all you would be using is your phone. I know it wouldn't be that good of quality because it's on your phone, but it would almost be worth it just because all you're having to carry around is your phone. Because I don't know how many of you guys were here when Jet was doing his CES coverage. He was walking around with his net top on, was it 4G? Were you on 4G or 3G?
No, I never could connect up to 4G there.
But
it was just overwhelmed.
I think FaceTime for mobile is something I can see in the future, maybe. I hope it's there. Right now, I'm not seeing too much of an integration in the Android app, which kind of worries me a little bit. But, I think when iOS gets it, it should be pretty cool.
All they got to do is just
true, I know.
pop that down and good to go.
Now, let's kind of just break down the different...
Let's look at the UI real quick for this app.
The interesting... Oh, okay. I meant for the web app as well.
Oh, just kidding.
Well, I mean, you can show that too.
Yeah.
But that kind of gives you a thing. So, actually, let's talk about this. So, the stream gives you, like, everything that everybody that you're following.
So, here's what your stream would look like on your circles. I've never really seen what the incoming actually does.
I never really have either.
I don't know.
The incoming, for me, from what I've noticed, is that if someone shares something with you, but not necessarily you don't have them added in any of your circles, that's where it goes in incoming.
Oh, okay.
See, that's something that a lot of people don't like, I've seen like a lot, like Sarah Lane, for example, she probably gets a lot of @replies or plus
so that
them,
won't be in her circles, that will be
but it still shows up and gives her a
incoming
notification. Yeah.
That basically incoming is mentions.
Yeah.
Your circles would
Pretty
be
much,
everything.
Yeah.
So that you would be wanting to see.
If someone wasn't in any of your circles and you didn't know me and I decided to share something with you, it would go in incoming.
Yeah, so the cool thing about the stream is it's opt-in, so you're only seeing people that you want to see.
Yeah, and you can make your own like little groups, which I like.
Yeah, I do like that as well because I have
Twitter, you have like
you
just
have lists,
following,
and you have
lists, but
you can't share with a list really.
But then Facebook, you have groups, but then it's weird and it's just. I mean, this is really easy to do. Like, I have internet friends, and then I have actual friends that I hang out in real life with.
Yeah.
I mean, not like this. Internet's not real life, but you know what I mean, like in person. That way, it's kind of like a, hey, if I want to send out something, hey, who wants to do something tonight? I'm not going to send it to all the internet friends because
they're going to be like,
unless it was like a Skype party. I don't know.
Yeah,
that would be weird. Okay, but
you've got like you got your church friends and all the other friends you might want to share.
And you have different things you want to show. Yeah, work people and all that or whatever.
Yeah, like you might want to share something with them that I might not necessarily want to see.
Yeah, and it kind of helps you organize stuff. So this is showing the comments here.
They this is kind of similar to Facebook in a little bit, like on the Android app, and I don't really fault them for that. But the comments on pictures and stuff on the web app I really love it.
Yeah, I mean it works real well. It like the Facebook app, I don't know it.
Oh, for Android,
I just don't like it. It works sometimes, and then you're like, oh, cool, that's kind of neat, and then it's like, what the crap? And so like this one, I like the way it works. Up here by his the time that he posted it, it says limited, and that's you have that option when you post something. You can tell it who you're sharing this with. You can either share it with certain circles, all your circles, or public. And by default, it's limited. You have to actually tell it public if you share it.
A lot of times, I don't do very much stuff public. Just because I forget to turn it on a lot. But if I ever share a video or something that would be something I would share on Twitter or something. Or just for instance, like I made sure to share that we were live right now, public, so everybody can see.
And then what I did was on his post, you can reshare each other's post. So,
and I like the reshare feature on Google Plus in a way that it just all it does is really transfer what you see into somebody else's stream.
It's basically what's happened with Google Plus? It's a merge between Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah,
and they
it really
take all the
is.
bad stuff and put in more good stuff, because the share is just a retweet.
But it's like it's so
the
much
plus
more.
one, which
It's
we're
kinda like
which
a
we'll talk
like.
about. The you have this plus one over here, which is like a like. I like this, so I'm going to plus one it.
Yeah.
And then the limit and all that stuff. I like that a lot, because sometimes someone might be following you on Google Plus,
Yeah.
or
add
in
it
one of
to
your
circles, yeah,
add it you to
whatever,
one of their
yeah.
circles, but you don't want to show them anything. You'd be like, why are
I got you.
So
yeah.
you're like, I'm not going to show you that. So you leave it limited, and now they can't see it. I like that, because with Twitter, it's like everybody's going to see this.
Yeah.
Nobody can see this unless I reply everybody that's on my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
And even then, they can still you can go into your Twitter feed and see it. So
Now this really hit home to me because I'm more of a anything that I put on Twitter is I'm just accepting it's going to be public.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean that's what I'm doing. And my dad, he has 20 friends on Facebook. Okay. He looks at me when I show him Google Plus, and he says, "You mean I can actually pick who I share this to?" And that like kicked into him, and he's like, "Wow, that would be cool." And it's not
because-
something that he's following 500 people. He has 20 people, and he still doesn't want to share what he shares with everybody.
But
which was
I really
shocking to
do
me.
like the fact that that you can share, like, I mean, you could write a
Yeah.
small paper and share it with somebody if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's not 140 characters. It's not,
Now,
whatever,
Joey
so-
did say that it was 8,000 on Facebook,
Well-
he thinks, but I mean, you're not limited, essentially.
Yeah. But the other thing I really do like is if you can troll like crazy on this thing, okay?
Oh.
They did this on
I've seen
Buzz.
it in action. That I've
They
gone
did-
into there before, and the wall's been full of nothing but Chris Pirillo or Robert Scoble. And
No, but what I was talking about was you can actually go in here and say you post like a picture of a puppy, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's cute," and then like, "Oh, I love this. Oh, I want 50 of them. Oh, these are the cutest things ever." And then you can like edit your post and change it to something else.
Yeah.
And the comments still stay, so you can make it pretty bad and just use your imagination. And you
I
can
do
get-
like the inline editing in a way. I know that opens up like what you're talking about.
They're
but for-
hilarious. Like, I hate puppies. I wish they die. Oh, I agree with you 100%. And it's just like,
you have to make sure you turn the email notifications off those. If you go and say something on like one of Scoble's posts or something.
oh yeah, and then
I
everybody
did,
else is
and
like,
I got like about 50 emails coming afterwards. So someone else has commented
Yeah.
on this post, and I was like, right, that is going off.
I had to
now.
turn it off. But now that's another feature is
And-
they've done a really nice job with privacy.
oh,
with
and then with the app
notifications.
and the desktop app, you can pick in their notifications. You can say, I want to see this on email. I want to see this only on the desktop app. I want to get notifications on my Android app. You can specify where you get them, which I really like.
Yeah.
It's just not a, all for all, your phone's going crazy because, but when you're sitting there on the computer, maybe you want to get an email if you get mentioned in something,
Yeah.
So,
One more thing is I don't know if you So Jacob and I set up gplus.to. There's another service.
we
that
didn't
does
set
this.
it up. We just added our thing on there.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
essentially.
we didn't make G plus.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
And what that allows you to do is this is really one of the main flaws I've seen in Google Plus is you don't have an actual username. Essentially, you go by Jacob Roberts, but the only issue is there could be 50 by the time this opens up to public. There could be thousands of Jacob Roberts on Google Plus.
Yeah, I already locked in freaking huge, so
Yeah.
I'm good to go on that. And then Nick was able to get Nick Jones. Jacob Roberts was not available.
Really, I just went ahead and got Nick Jones just for fun.
Actually, I wasn't even going to do Jacob Roberts. Jacob Roberts actually probably was available when I set it up. I was going to do Jacob,
That would be cool.
but it wasn't available.
Now,
So I just
one-
ended up doing my standard, so it's easy.
And I've seen some. I can't remember. I would give them credit on Twitter, but I did notice somebody saying, I think it maybe Scoble or somebody. They said this is actually developed in Turkey, and it turns out there's a lot of spam in Turkey and like people who are being like frauds and stuff on the internet. And The only issue I see with it is it's not associated with Google, but all it does
they
is...
they could bait and switch you like in a heartbeat, and like every single thing gets redirected to someone else's webpage.
But in a way, I don't... Yeah, I understand. Like, they could just start redirecting it to their podcast network or something.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't used that for that very reason, because it's not Google, and it's like it's just something that someone's come up with, and they could be farming names and profiles and all sorts, and then later on when they decide to do so, they could go and screw stuff up. I could just use Bitly or something like that to
that's what I should
shorten down my profile, or it can even direct you. If I think it's like profiles.google.com / your username.
I did put that in here.
Now they do have some statistics though, which is pretty cool because
you can see it.
You can see exactly who the last user was that added, and total users that are being redirected, and total redirects. Right now they're up to like 1.4 million redirects.
Now when I signed up, it was like 30,000. So I mean, it's grown.
And they're like 119,000 users.
Yeah.
And it even says right there below it, G+.2 is not a Google product. So they're telling you right up front, hey, we're not affiliated with Google, but we're going to give you this ability.
As long as they don't claim to be. Yeah.
It's just like Bitly.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
it's just...
You're going to redirect to like some other site, but it's just this one's more geared
towards Google Plus.
To Google Plus. So
like, now if I see that, I'm just like, that's Google Plus. If I see a Bitly link that just says, hey, go check out my Google Plus profile, I'm trusting that it'll, I understand. And Carlo, I even thought about that. I went through the process. I'm like, well, but then I ended up, you're not giving any information. Like, you don't even have to sign up on the service. All you do is say, I want this nickname and
linked with this ID.
Yeah.
And all you do is you just go to your stream, and it has it up there, and they even tell you how to do it and everything. You just look at your post.
Basically, it's just a URL shortener like any other, but I wouldn't trust it. I'd rather trust Bitly than I would over that, because I've used it for a while.
Yeah.
So pretty much, you can probably tell we like Google Plus a lot. And you can find Jacob on there. You can search for Jacob Roberts or
Hey, G+.2/freaking huge.
Yeah, I'm G+.2/
or just
Nick Jones.
Whatever.
And Carlo, you can just search Carlo Brown, right? I think...
Yeah, I'm pretty much the only Carlo Brown on there, as far as I know.
And we're looking at, maybe for a pre-show or something, Hangouts are pretty cool. We haven't even touched on this. Hangouts is a group chat feature that allows you to add, I think it's up to 10 people, right? So you can...
it's with the host and 9 people, that's the maximum. So 10 people maximum if you count the host, or the first person who starts it.
Yeah, and as long, we'll hold probably some Hangouts before the shows or whatever, and that's a really cool way for us to just communicate with you guys, just to have a little fun, whatever. I mean...
Oh, and also I want to show this...
show it away.
In the Google app, on the Android app, they have Hangout, which is like...
No, not Hangout, Huddle.
Huddle, sorry.
Yeah, Huddle.
Hangout was what we're talking about, video. Huddle is like a group chat. It's really cool because you don't have to like put this all up in like a stream or anything like that.
Yeah.
You just say, I want to talk to, and then like they have the crew, which is, I guess...
What they name.
Whatever. But then you can just talk with a certain set of people. So like family, hey, what are we doing for blah, 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 whatever. It's really cool because... you can just talk with certain people, and you don't actually have to like reply them or anything. You're just chatting with them in a chat room, basically.
What I like is it takes the core features of Beluga or a service like that. I think there's a couple other group texting, and it uses data to chat. I mean, it's like group text messaging almost.
Yeah.
And they have said this will work with when they open up the API. You can actually have people that can text message from a phone and add them. Like people will be able to participate without having an app. But right now that's not open. And just to say this, I did bookmark on here, and I'll put this in the show notes. Google now has a Chrome extension as well. So they're starting to roll out progressively more applications and ways to access the API. But right now, since they're in beta, they're saying the API is not done yet. So... Hangouts really the deal breaker for me. I think that's a really cool feature. And right now they say that they're using video, which is what Leo Laporte is going to use for his Skype alternative in the new studio. And I can see that they would probably want to, because remember we talked about it a couple months ago now, that Google had bought up they had decided to start using WebM for things like YouTube and Google Video before they phased it out. And I can see them maybe building their own custom solution if they ever wanted to. And they didn't really want to release when they were on Leo's show. Some of the developers didn't want to release that they're using video because I think they're going to change it pretty soon. But right now it's really stable. I think, Carlo, you've had some issues maybe getting some time. What's happening? I had this issue once too.
Yeah, one of them was a server error, which would come up with a window saying there's been a server error, and then you could just click the green button, pop straight back in. That was the only error I think I've had. I had one error with my camera, but that was just the camera messing around. I just basically unplugged it, plugged it back in, and it was fine. And then there was another error which I saw someone put on Twitter where it said the server's being reset, try again later, and that's when they were having problems because of all the invites, and they had a overload or something, so that was messing up. Other than that, I haven't had any problems, but there have been some others.
I've had I had a couple problems on the actual app. I think it was just because they were trying to get it still going right, and it was saying cannot connect to the network.
The Android app.
Yeah,
I think
it went through like a little spell of like a day or two where it couldn't actually like access their servers. I think they were just redoing something.
And Joe
had that with the notifications on. When I was on Firefox, it comes up with a little window saying you can't connect to the server to get my notifications, but then I went in to the other place instead, rather than the top right corner. I went into the left sidebar and did it that way instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe's mentioning in the chat room he did have some issues, like Carlos said, changing cameras. I've had that issue as well. And Boo said...
I did have a feedback issue. On the first couple of days I tried it, there was a bit of a feedback issue. I could hear myself. It's
not doing very well at canceling out audio. And also... like changing a camera or a microphone input, you can't. It's whatever the first one it picks.
See, I was thinking that because...
Well, I was able to do that when my camera messed up. Well, the microphone messed up.
Yeah.
I was able to switch to my eyesight and
it
use
was
the
able to do it
microphone
on
in
yours.
that. And then, so I could switch between both my Logitech and my eyesight.
Okay,
and I realised at the time that the USB drivers hadn't loaded properly, and I just took it out and put it back in again, but I actually did have to leave the chat and go back in again in order for the camera to pick up properly again.
Yeah, Boo is saying that he saw it could be a codec issue, and he's making a good point. It is a beta, and this is a great beta in my opinion, because I'm one of those people, when I see a new service sign up that looks awesome, I get on their mailing list, and once they say, hey, private beta is open, here's your invite code, I'm like, heck yes. But then I always get disappointed because I'm like, crap, this sucks. It doesn't work.
That's why it's private beta.
Yeah, I know. But this right here is awesome.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job for a first rollout. I mean, they're tweaking it, and
they said they've been working on this for a year and a half, and a lot of people have said, well, I don't want this to turn out like Buzz. I don't want it to turn out like Wave.
Well, I don't think it is right now because, I mean, just the way that was, it was like...
that felt like it was a good project, but they turned it out in like 2 weeks. Like,
yeah, it was like, hey, let's just make a chat that you can like...
yeah, and
see when you're typing. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, done.
It's sort of different. Buzz felt like a Twitter competitor, whereas this is more...
It's like, integrating everything
similar
together.
To Facebook, it's actually more of, I think, Google actually trying to do their own thing more than trying to compete with anyone in particular.
Yeah, it's like a social networking alternative.
Yes, basically. If you don't like Twitter or Facebook, they're offering something different.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our next story. We've talked about this. There's been rumors a lot that Spotify, which is a music streaming service that's been in the UK and I think around Europe as well, that they would be coming to the US. Let me see if I can find it here. I have way too many. Here we go. But it is official now. They were having issues getting through with a couple of the big three because Spotify is a music streaming service, kind of like Mog or Rdio, I think it's called, that you subscribe. You have to pay monthly. I think it's a pretty low monthly fee, and you get access to all their songs. And there's been debate about this. I mean, even back to the days of Napster, which isn't exactly the same, but the fact that you're getting access to a large sum of songs for very cheap. You can stream them. You could record them, whatever, but all the service providers that they wanted have agreed, and they're going to be coming to the U.S. pretty soon. And I just saw Jacob sign up, so
oh yeah,
I do like the fact that they have They have an Ubuntu native application, which is nice. But it kind of reminds me of iTunes, Carlo. I don't know if you've checked out the application, but it reminds me a lot of like iTunes.
To be honest, I'm not bothered about it because I'm not don't really listen to a lot of music. If I do at all, I usually do internet radio, or I've got quite a few CDs.
I'm kind of like you. And
I don't really do that much. Don't really listen to music on the go or anything like that much, really. So I don't really bother with it.
And we talk a lot about Groove Shark, which I still can't really figure out how Groove Shark is a legal operation, but they've been in service for well over, I think it's been 2 years.
It's been quite a while. Yeah.
But Groove Shark's a nice alternative to streaming stuff because they got like everything you want. I still use Pandora a lot. I'm kind of old school like that.
And you can actually upload your own stuff too.
Yeah, and
so that's kind of cool.
Recently, I know a lot of you guys aren't in the U.S., but Turntable is really cool, and I hope that they relaunch I think they're still in beta, so they launched everywhere. All you had to have was a friend on your Facebook account that was on. What do you need?
Where was that Slim? Oh,
are you gonna eat that Slim Jim?
Yeah, let me.
All right.
I'm kind of Jonesing here. Nick Jonesing.
Nick Jonesing. And there's been some rumors, and we talked about this earlier, that there was that Spotify could be integrated with Facebook.
And if it is, I wouldn't really be bothered, to be honest.
Yeah, what I think would be awesome is if Turntable integrated with Facebook or Google Plus or something, because then it would just show up. It would say, "Hey, Nick is DJing" or something. I think that would be I think the social component of Turntable really does the trick. I don't think Spotify with Facebook isn't going to do much because it would just be the difference of having either Facebook open or the app open. And
also let's not forget about Google Music. It's still trying to get in there too.
But see, that's still your content. Like, you gotta own those songs.
But they do have some other ones that
stuff
aren't
up there,
owned.
I think.
They have some. They have a general library that isn't owned by you.
And just mentioning that, I have seen that Amazon is going to unlimited storage now for their streaming because Google is kind of pressuring them, and iTunes in the cloud, or what's that called? iTunes. What's that new service that they rolled out?
iTunes Match.
Yeah.
The iCloud.
Yeah, iCloud. So
I'm not getting that over here yet. But apparently I've got to wait until 2012 in the UK to get the whole iCloud iTunes thingy.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about services like Rdio, which has become really popular because it's cross-platform on mobile devices, Pandora, which is still free. I think you can get a premium account, but whatever. And then about iTunes. I mean, you think Spotify is going to really have enough market share to do anything to these in the US? I know it's pretty big in the UK. But
over here, I can get Spotify. The rest of them, we don't have them.
Really?
Yeah, but we don't have Pandora. I've heard of Rdio, probably don't have it. And obviously we've got iTunes. There's a few like that over here, probably.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't touched any of them because I'm not bothered about them.
I'm kind of with Carlo. I like the free streaming services, and then Google Music does a trick for me. Because I have all my songs up there, and plus, those free songs.
If you got a bunch of content that you have on your computer, Google Plus works out pretty well because if you have an Android device, you can very easily listen to all your music, and as long as you have the desktop app installed, it's pretty much you can access all your music anywhere. So I like it.
Honestly, I don't think Spotify's going to have the market share to do this. I mean, I don't think the market right now wants a paid streaming service that you don't own the songs. Like a lot of people I talk to, if they're gonna pay money to listen to music, they want the song. Like they want that MP3 uncopyright protected, like on their hard drive.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
I still prefer the CD myself.
I mean, I like CDs. I mean, usually if I ever buy a CD anymore, I burn it to my computer. But I'm kind of like you because if your hard drive takes a dump or something, you still got that CD. So
yeah, I'd like to have the CD and rip them, and then if I don't want the album on there anymore, I'll delete it and replace it with something else.
All right.
And Jody Max is saying
in the
5
UK?
listens and then they block.
Huh.
And on Spotify.
If that's the free version,
oh, that's a free.
Yeah.
Okay.
you're only allowed to listen to so much, and then
maximum of 10 hours a month.
Say that's your lot.
All right.
It's
Like
basically
once a day
Rhapsody.
or something.
Yeah, you're right. It is a different.
It's basically
version of
Rhapsody is what it comes down to.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. I think it's going to be cool to have another streaming service, but honestly, I'm not going to sign up for it. Sorry. All right, so like I said, this has been a really big. Okay, so Techno in the chat room saying that he does subscribe to Spotify and he loves it, but this was one of the bigger stories, and all this happened at the beginning of the week. I mean, we had Google Plus last week, and since we didn't have a show, that's why we're talking about it today. But Facebook this week announced that they were going to partner with Skype. They were calling it their awesome announcement. They had an awesome announcement coming.
For an awesome announcement, I'm still waiting for that one.
I know, really.
Yeah. I'm
after I've experienced Hangout, Google Plus, for the most part, I've ditched Facebook. And then I'm not too big of a fan of Facebook chat. For one reason, I like it in an IM client or something. That helps a little bit because I have a lot of people that like talk to me on, like Eric likes to talk to me sometimes on Facebook chat. Like, I don't really like the fact that, I don't know, I kind of like Skype as a standalone solution better than having it in Facebook, but I kind of see where they're going. Like, because my granddad or my grandparents are on Facebook, as long as essentially if they have a webcam and they have the ability to use a microphone, they can probably install Facebook chat.
Yeah.
It's a one-click install. It is a Java application, which is weird. I was wondering why they went with Java.
I don't know.
I'd rather just use Skype if I'm doing one-on-one.
Yeah.
With the Facebook and then the Hangout for the multiple.
And I was kind of shocked that they did not do multiple. Like, I thought that was going to be the big announcement because Facebook and Skype partnering up. I mean, they've been, and this is something that a lot of pundits have talked about, is Facebook's always been in the back pocket of Microsoft pretty much. Like, they've been using Bing, they've been using Microsoft.
Yeah, because Live.com, that was actually the way I was getting around looking at Facebook at work. Until I figured out that I could just go to the secured version of Facebook and it lets me go to anything. Basically, Live.com, you can link your like Facebook and Twitter and stuff to it.
Yeah.
And then like it's all there.
Kind of works as a client, sort of.
What are you munching, Jacob?
Slim Jim.
I never heard of them.
They're pretty good.
It's kind of like processed meat.
Yeah.
But you want to show a
It's a
screen?
meat stick.
You got that? Actually, go to the next web, the next link that you have pulled up there. They have a really cool. There's Joshua Topolsky, but they have a really cool kind of screenshot collection of what it actually looks like. So, it's down at the bottom. No, that's all I wanted to show you. See, there it is, and he's kind of got it. You can actually it has pop-up windows, which I kind of like in a way, but really, it's just Facebook chat with video. And it seamlessly integrates with Skype. And now...
that is Skype, basically, because that's
much
what it works on. So it's the Skype backend, so it basically is using the Skype API. So pretty much when you're using that, you may as well be using Skype.
And there's a lot of people on Facebook that don't want to use Skype, or don't know how to, or just don't even know about it.
They'll be using it anyway.
Yeah, they'll be using it, and they're like, "Oh, Facebook's so cool! It's got this video now." Like, no, that's Skype. It's been around for a while. No, Facebook's top of the line here. It's cutting edge technology.
You know, in a way, it kind of reminds me of video, like what we were talking about earlier, video supporting Google Plus on the back end for Hangout. Like, it's just not widely publicized that you're using video. Like, people had to dig for that. I just kind of accept that Google Plus works, you know. But now you're just gonna have a big old Skype. You know, anytime they talk about this, they're gonna be like Facebook video chat with Skype. You know, like that's really the only thing. I like it in the fact that it is available to the masses. So if I ever wanted to talk to somebody on Facebook, but I mean, the only thing I see cool with this is, I mean, we've seen such a growth in Skype. Like, how many? I mean, I know a ton of people that are on Skype. Like, I'm just not friends with them on Skype. But like, if I wanted to talk to somebody on Skype,
I think just about most people with a camera have Skype or have used it at some point.
Really, yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I like the fact that it is one...
MediaCast guys
I saw
that Skype group is video.
That's kind of weird.
Or might be based on it, at least.
Yeah. I don't think this is as big of an announcement as Facebook kind of said it was. Mark Zuckerberg...
They overhyped it, and also what I saw in the Skype Twitter account gave it away before it was even announced, because on the Skype Twitter account, they said, we're waiting for an awesome Facebook announcement right now. And I was like, well, that just gave it away right there.
Yeah.
So we need to watch it now.
Now, Mark Zuckerberg had a kind of a sort of a bad slip when he was doing his live stream. He said he was talking about how great it was going to be to partner with Skype and Microsoft and stuff. Really, he was hitting on Microsoft because, you know, they're pretty big. Like, they're, you know, we talked about it.
They're sucking up to him.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's like, well, with Microsoft's recent acquisition of Skype, this made this deal a no-brainer. And then the Skype CEO is standing right next to him, and he turns around and he says, well, the deal with Microsoft really hasn't gone through yet. I mean, we're hoping it goes through, but it hasn't yet. And then Zuckerberg is like, well, we would have probably still done it if you guys were just a standalone entity anyway. But with Microsoft, it was really good. So
I'm seeing Skype come to Xbox pretty soon.
That would be pretty cool.
I would like that with the Kinect. That'd be pretty sweet.
So
that would be that hard to do if you got the Kinect camera, even one of those. What's that old Microsoft camera that you used to be able to get
like
take pictures with?
The chat or something. It's called like a. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, that used to be able to use that to do chat in certain games or something like that. So that would be too hard to come up with.
Like I said, and one more thing that came out of this announcement, I kind of skipped over this in the show notes. Zuckerberg kind of laughed it off, and he said, "Yeah, we do have 750 million users now." So,
I think that's what it was called, the
360
live vision cam or something.
Yeah, I think that was it as well. That little white one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it had a mic built into it though. You had to use your headset or something.
I think you're right because they did interface with the Xbox 360.
And you could chat over Xbox Live, so. If they do something like that, it's Skype one-on-one on there.
Like if they do Skype, that'd be pretty sweet. You know, just be able to use Skype as your backbone for like video calling and stuff.
Skype they've always said, like, remember at CES this year, the big thing was like we're bringing Skype to the TV, but the only issue is without buying a new TV, you don't get Skype.
I'm all glad that like Logitech has their like vid thing and they're trying to get in there, but really and truly put Skype on the Google TVs. Just do it. You know, get it over with.
Is it not on there already?
No.
Damn, that's weird.
I know. They got the Logitech vid on there, which nobody's on.
Yeah. I mean,
now if they could like cross-platform that, like go Logitech vid to Skype, then you'd be like, yeah. But no, they're not going to.
All right. So our final story is kind of a sad one, in my opinion. That yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah.
Gosh. Yesterday,
the space shuttle Atlantis went up, and it marked the last space mission for the U.S. And definitely for NASA. A lot of people have been saying, is this the end of an era or the beginning of a new one? And it's wishful thinking. I would want to say that it's the beginning of a new one, but in a way, like, and we'll get into this in a second. But it kind of, I don't know. It's just like, wow, we're never going to have the NASA in its present state ever again. You know, like space missions with space shuttle and everything. I don't know. So the main reason that they're citing for kind of doing away with NASA is, one, federal funding. But I heard a stat, it's about 0.1% of the federal budget every year. So I think, I think it's really great for the president to say we're cutting NASA. That's gonna do wonders for our economy. Not really.
We're not getting anywhere lately though with space. It's like we haven't found any other life or anything. We're sending stuff up there, and it's not getting anywhere.
I think
really.
The main goal, and I heard this on CNN. One of the previous astronauts was on there. She said that right now they're gonna kind of scale back and get back into development and stuff. And the main goal, the goal now is Mars. Like, that's the main goal. And I think that's pretty cool. It kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of, I guess it's sort of a sentimental thing that, we won't see any space shuttles go up. I may never see one go up in my lifetime.
Well, I have a feeling that...
They go to the moon so many times.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but, if they would have kept with it the way that they were, supposedly going at it with, we should have already been inhabiting the moon by now, And that advances your technology because then you have all this, and you can spread out and you can, hey, that'd be kind of cool to live on the moon. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Now, the
real
real
crazy... terraform the thing first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real
or just put it in like a
Star
big
Trek
pod.
stuff.
Yeah.
The real crazy thing to me is we're still using technology from almost the beginning of NASA. Like, the space shuttles are built on the same...
Well,
and that's one of the things that they're
I saw a
citing.
thing on Discovery Channel, like, way back before they started...
Talking about... Kinda,
they were in the process. They're like, well, we're going to do this, and
yeah.
we're decommissioning
And you've
all
told
the
me about this
shuttles.
before. You've seen it on Reddit and stuff, that we have
The
so much
original
technology.
teardrop-shaped pod, like the Apollo pods and stuff that they had, they know substantially more about its aerodynamics than they do about a shuttle. You can do very intricate things with
Yeah.
one of those teardrop shaped like flask, like beaker looking things, than you can with a shuttle. A shuttle is literally you're flying a brick.
Pretty much.
It's just hurtling through the air. It's amazing that it actually doesn't. It's just it's very, very heavy, and it's amazing that
we're talking millions of pounds. Like, the guy on we're gonna show a video later, but the guy on CNN says, like, there's, I can't remember the actual, but it's millions of pounds. He's like, there goes millions of hardware, pounds of hardware, and
basically, what they said they were going to do was
4.5 million.
They were going to go back to the way they were doing before. Basically, have like a Saturn V rocket or something,
right?
And this, the nose cone is the pod, and you carry however many people, and it goes up and then detaches, and that's it. There's no multi-stage. There's no, it just throws you up in the air, and then you detach and you go into space, and you have like little thrusters to be able to get around. But when you come back down, it's very easy. You just parachute down.
Yeah.
They turn it at a certain angle so that it doesn't burn up in the atmosphere. You parachute down and you're done. It's substantially cheaper and everything. That's what they were talking about going in.
Yeah.
They were going to retire the shuttles, which they have, and they're coming back with this.
Yeah. Now, this is one thing that I don't really like about this decision. 7,000 people after this space shuttle comes back on, I think they're coming back, I think it's like a 11-day or 14-day mission or something. Once they come back, 7,000 people are going to be out of a job. Because at NASA, they directly develop, they do all this stuff, and they're just going to get cut.
You have to understand how it's going. Space exploration for the U.S. is not going to stop. It's just going to change the industry. Yeah. It's going to be private industry now. It's no longer going to be government.
Which is weird. Like,
but
right
that's,
now, in this present state...
Think about airplanes.
Yeah.
They're all private industry. You don't have a government-controlled airplane except a military.
Yeah.
Okay? It's essentially the same thing. You're just going slightly farther.
But the weird thing is now, this hasn't been tested. Like, we haven't seen this.
Yes, they have.
Well...
Virgin has been testing it like crazy.
And it costs like a ton of money.
Yeah, but it's cheaper, though, than anything about the space shuttle.
But you're moving it towards...
It's a private industry where, hey, I would love to be able to get into a supersonic airplane at an airport and, you fly from, like, say, Birmingham to Atlanta, and, like, say, Atlanta has a supersonic that's transcontinental, and you get to anywhere in the world in like 30 minutes. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Be like, okay, I'll be over there in a minute. Hey, you want to eat lunch today? I'll come over there and whatever. I mean, and then because you have to look at it, the only way you're going to bring down cost of other things is to bring new things into play.
You have to.
That's the only way.
You have to innovate, essentially.
So
I'm still waiting for transporters.
I know. But this is the next closest thing is basically skipping across the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And, once they get it down to a science and they get it down and it's all working perfectly and stuff, I mean, you're going to see tons of that. Because they try to do it with the Concorde jet. And that they were just like, the funding, blah, 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 blah. Because nobody was with it.
Yeah.
And then they had,
Now, Smoothie, this is essentially what you were saying. Private industry will produce more competition, which will create more growth.
Yes.
Now,
because people want to be in the lead of all that. Yeah. And when you open up to private, there's there's competition then. So.
Yeah. I think it's just going to be, it's really a sentimental thing that NASA will no longer have space explorations from NASA in the present state.
Yeah.
And
I think all the other countries are going to be like, yay, now we're going to do it.
And I think a lot of interest... This is something I heard on CNN, which doesn't really make sense because they're not charging for you to watch the space shuttle launch. But they said there was like 1 million people there. Like my grandparents were down there, and they said like they couldn't even get to the viewing. They have like a couple of viewing things that are like 4 or 5 miles away. That's pretty close, and representative of NASA from CNN or on CNN said, if we would have had this kind of interest for every single space shuttle launch, it would probably continue. But that's not plausible whatsoever because once everybody figured out, they're like, oh, last one. All right, I gotta go fast. Like people dropped everything that they were doing. Like I heard a couple people, they're like, oh well, I just had to take vacation. Like this wasn't planned until last week, And I think a lot of interest was lost after the space, like after the U.S. won the race to space.
It became commonplace. It's like, oh, they're shooting up
this
another
is something.
shuttle.
Another thing I saw on TV is they were talking to little kids who were like, "Oh, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up." And the weird thing was for this astronaut lady that was talking that had been up into space. She said, it's kind of surreal to me because they actually just think that it's a norm to go up into space. Like when I was growing up, I hadn't she didn't even dream of going into space. But then like in the like 80s, the 70s, whatever, like it became plausible, but it was still kind of like, oh, that's awesome. But now you think of space exploration, you're like, yeah, they launch a shuttle 2 times a year. They go up into space.
I mean, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It's just
it's become a normality and everything like that. I mean, like.
But that's the way you got to go in
6
order
years
to get.
ago, did you think you would have a 1.2 gigahertz phone in your pocket?
Did you think you were going to be able to browse the full web on your phone?
No.
So
the same way, just in a higher scale.
Yeah.
Now, President Obama did recommend private space industry. We kind of already talked about that. I think it's in the future now. Jayup's got a video here, great video by CNN. It shows all 30 years, 135 space shuttle launches in 135 seconds. So let's watch this video and then we'll move on to Jayup's bookmark of the week. If it plays. Oh, there we go. Is there any on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have liftoff. On its way. Space Lab 2. Shuttle has cleared the tower.
Roll program initiated. Gibson controlling now. Roger, roll, Challenger.
Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Liftoff of Columbia and the first dedicated medical research flight. 6-man crew on a Department of Defense flight.
Climb to 28.5 inclination orbit. Atlantic speed now 500 miles an hour.
Maximum dynamic pressure on the vehicle in the lower atmosphere.
Setting engines at 100%. Well, the vehicle's rate of speed will virtually triple.
Flight controller standing by for burnout and jettison of the twin solid rockets. 3 main engines, second stage.
Columbia Houston, performance nominal.
On a heads down position, on course.
Space Shuttle Columbia with the Microgravity Science Laboratory.
Starting at about 1G vertical acceleration.
Have a photo now.
All systems on board are continuing to perform well.
Good solid rocket booster separation. Houston now controlling the flight of Columbia, the international research mission finally underway. And liftoff of Space Shuttle Discovery, beginning America's new journey. Atlantis begins its penultimate journey to shore up the International Space Station. The final liftoff of Discovery.
Houston, Endeavour, all program.
America will continue the dream.
So,
yeah, you might want to pause it. I think something else is gonna, or you can just X out or whatever. But that was a really cool video. I really like that because I heard a lot of people had said each space shuttle launch was different, even though generally it's really like the same thing that goes on and stuff. But I think that's one of the exciting things out of this is right now we're still operating on 25 to 30-year-old technology for space exploration, which is really crazy once you think about it. And just the fact that private industry and the ability to do things like that are here right now. Like I'm kind of excited of what is going to be birthed out of this. You know, like the different things that are going to come out.
Yeah.
So. Pretty awesome. All these links will be in the show notes.
All these links and more on pbcasttv.
And since we have one of the reasons we switched themes a while back is because we can now include everything. So we'll no longer. I'm not going to link to our doc anymore. I'm just going to put actual text links, which is a lot better. So Jap's got a bookmark here, and a lot of his bookmarks originate from him trying to get around something at the depot. Which is good.
Not really.
Sort of. I mean, a couple ones like the live.com, that wasn't a bookmark, but this is pretty awesome. He showed it to me when we were setting up the studio on, was that Thursday night, I guess? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'll let Jacob talk about this here. It's pretty cool.
Let me log in real quick. That's the other thing you can do is log in and save things. So let me show you. I was looking for a online Photoshop alternative.
Yeah, because you had to get the Fab Lab images done.
I was like, I don't want to have to wait till I get home to like actually do anything with this, because then I'm like, oh gosh, and I'm like, you know, you have break times and stuff at work, and I'm like, let me do this during lunch or something, and so this is Pixlr, Pixlr.com, and this itself isn't. They have two things. They have this photo booth-orama thing, and then they have the image editor, which is I'm in right now. The automatic whatever thing, Gorama Jinker. It actually will go in there. You can upload pictures to it. There's actually a Firefox plugin that you can do to like instantly edit with pictures inside or whatever, and you can just apply different effects to it. It's kind of like Pick Please or any of those kind of programs for, you know, your phone. You do little effects to the pictures, you know, vignetting and all that. Okay, so this, if anybody's messed with Photoshop, you notice this looks halfway similar to it. And you actually have over here, you can open up an image in your library, and I've created a folder here for our stuff. Here's our Fab Lab. And they actually have their own little format, a PXD, not a PSD. And, that's approaching copyright infringements there. And open it up. And
first off, this really functions like a desktop application. Like, I was pretty impressed. And it is built on Flash, oddly enough.
It's 100% Flash.
But it doesn't slow down like you would expect some big app, like a web app like this, to be running on Flash.
Oh, and right. Nick doesn't have the Impact font.
I don't know why. But
apparently Linux, that is not a Linux font. So, but basically this is normally Impact. But you have all these little layers here, and I actually end up bringing this down, and stupid chat's in my way, so I can't really do it fully. But,
so it supports layering, just like Photoshop or GIMP.
So you have all these layers. You can turn them on and off. This is actually how I made the blog post for Fab Lab. You have all these. It's kind of like, it takes a little bit getting used to. Like, you have to select the text layer when you're with the text tool to be able to edit it. You just can't click on the text.
That's how GIMP is a lot.
And so, but then you have, like, the Fab Lab logo down here and the background, of course. But it's really cool because you can open up a URL. You can do whatever you want, and like I said, they have a Flash plugin where you can go. I mean, a Firefox extension, where you can go and right click a picture. Of course, if it's a thumbnail, it's only going to get the thumbnail, so you got to go to the like source picture. But you can right click it and say edit with Pixlr, and it'll open it up in the program, ready to go. It's pretty cool. So and also they have their own image sharing backbone called IMM.2.
IO.
or IO.
I am. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
that allows you not only you can save directly out of Pixar, correct?
Yeah, you can save back to your computer. You can either save a PXD file or JPEGs or PNGs or bitmaps or what GIFs, whatever you really want, back to your computer. You can save them to its online like little library. You can also save them to Facebook, so you can like direct or whatever Flickr and different things. You can directly post them to that.
That's cool.
Which then you end up losing it if you don't save it in a PXD file.
Okay.
And their saving is kind of weird because it doesn't have like a save. They're always save as, even though it says save. It's a save as. So you make a copy every time you save it. I'm like, I don't like that. Yeah. I want to save, and I want it to auto save. I don't want it to like. Yeah. I want to close the window and like it's saved. I don't got to worry about it.
Yeah. Now there's a guy in our chat room last week. He stopped by and he wanted a lower third, but he didn't want to obviously buy Photoshop to edit it. And I'm like, well, you could use GIMP, but GIMP's not that good on.
And this one you can use it. You can use. You just make a transparent background.
Yeah.
And then I can show right here right now.
And if I would have known about this like right then, I would have definitely told him about.
You specify your resolution. Let's say they have different little standards. Like if you want a rectangle or whatever.
Yeah,
banners for your website, movies, whatever. We'll just do it 800 by 600, and you can make it transparent with that little checkbox. Oh, sorry. You can make it transparent with that little checkbox right here. And no, Eric. Actually, we made our lower thirds in After Effects.
Yeah, Jet made these in After Effects.
They're MOV files.
Our previous ones you did make in Photoshop. So
yes. So here, and you see it supports. It actually supports transparent stuff, and it's kind of weird. But this is actually supports multiple windows. It's really cool.
But yeah.
So let's see. So for example, if you wanted to make a whatever I was about to say, a lower third that had like a fade to it or something, you can come in here with the brush, and they have all the different brushes and stuff, and you specify the size brush that you want. This is the way I would do it personally, but you can do it however you want. And I don't know, just make a simple little and of course, you do this halfway straight, but I'm being stupid with it.
There you go. You got a lower third.
Lower third, done. And
it's a bit cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, you can come in here and put text in it, and you specify whatever fonts you want, and type in your text. Lower third, and of course you got to make it white.
Joe says that's possibly the most vile lower third he's ever seen.
It's really good.
You must be doing a good job there, mate.
That's the way I like to live my life. So, and you can scale up the text,
and
make it
you're done.
bold if you want.
That's network quality right there.
That's high quality lower thirds right there.
We'll probably use that next week.
Yeah, and then if you want your logo over here, you can do a new layer.
That is mind blowing. That is.
And you come up in here and say you want like the white logo here, and you come up in there, and like our little logos, like the little thing with like an A looking sort of thing, and you got it going there. Okay. All right, and then basically you're done. And then if you wanted to even incorporate like Jody Max is saying in the chat room, you can come in here and just completely trash.
For a couple of boxes, just use the box making tool. Just see a couple of boxes next to each other.
You just get here. You can do a Control A or something like that. Yeah, Control A. It doesn't work right in Mac for some reason. I mean, in Linux. Fill it with like a black That's
go.
really horrible. What's going on here? Fill it. And
then you just kind of cut out some stuff.
And then you just come in here and make a little box here. Make a little box here. I mean, we're doing this live here, folks. I mean, you know.
That is a double box, I think.
And then all you have to do is just come in here and make a shape. I want it not filled, and I want the border size to like... Now, actually, you can even go one step further, because this is where it comes down to
you should give it a really nice background color.
It has layer styles, just like Photoshop. Drop shadows. You can feather them out a little. And boom.
You're done.
And we do a little bevel, or not. Maybe an inner glow. And throw that in there. Kind of spice it up a little. And, I mean, that's it. You're done. I mean, it's not even centered. You're good to go. You come in here, you file, and you save it. And you specify here what you want it to be. A PNG if you want to keep that transparency. And you see you can save it directly to Picasa and Flickr and Facebook and all that. So if I want to pick my folder here, they have all these different little... you have to have a, thing already on here. But you can call it, awesome, lower third. Or not lower third.
Double box.
Double box. Save it to Picasa. It's working. It's done. I come over here on the broadcasting computer. Go into my Picasa.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm not making this stuff up. I mean, you can't, this is as easy as it is right here.
So easy that even I could do it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Carlo can even do it. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
You come
if
in
I
here,
can do it, it must be
you
easy.
get it, you save it.
That's a pretty relevant double box.
Wherever the save button is here.
I guess you could just right click. Oh.
Save image as. Put it in our pictures. And save it. Come in here. And then you just come in here and we duplicate a shot real quick. I mean, we're doing this live, people. We're doing it live. You come up in here and drag and drop this in here and not stick it there because that's not where you want it. You put it over here or something so that it's in there. Come up in here and not use that keyboard. And then you add a little something going on. Set up your awesome lower third that's not got the transparency in it. And then basically it doesn't work. So we're good to go.
You stuck it in the wrong place.
Yeah, I did.
All right. Well, thanks for that awesome demonstration, Jip. And like Linux Cypher is saying, Firefox and Chrome have Pixlr apps and add-ons. So,
yes.
Really cool to have those. Looks pretty awesome. And in a pinch, or if you just need to do some simple photo editing.
Oh, yeah.
They had some really cool things like vignette, like you said. I think they even had like a one-click HDR, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they have filters, just like Photoshop.
You really do Photoshop.
Gaussian blur, box blurs, whatever you want. I mean, it's pretty much Photoshop online. You can change your language if you want. If you want to read it in Czechoslovakian, you can. Or wait, that's not even a language. Russian.
Let's just make up some languages.
Well, I guess it is. Yeah, Czech or Czech, Slavian.
Slavic.
Finnish.
Sure.
You want to read
Russian or
everything in
something.
Finnish. But yeah, go check it out. Pixlr.com.
Yep. And
Do
all
it.
these links will be in the show notes over at pbcasttv.com with the corresponding post. Once we get... I'm not going to run live stream. Well, I don't know. I might try it again. But right now, we're not... Our broadcast machine is on Wi-Fi, which isn't optimal because I wasn't going to pay $50 for a Ethernet cable. So those are on the way.
I'm surprised it's still working after Jacob kicked it over.
I know, really. When we were saying
I
it
did
up-
not kick it over.
Yeah.
Nick
Or it's
Jones
mysteriously
That
fell.
wasn't me.
kicked it over. It
and
was
then-
all you. You know it was.
One more thing, pbcasttv.com/newsletter. We do a newsletter each and every Monday. It ships right when, or no, we don't have a show that comes out then. I don't know what I'm thinking, but about 7 a.m. my time it goes out. So make sure to subscribe there. We go through. What I do is I detail everything that is going down this week for PBcast TV.
Downtown Chinatown.
We've got some pretty cool things in the works. Probably going to do an off-site live stream coming up in a couple months. I've been sending some emails out about that. But anyway, thanks for watching this episode of Tech Weekly. And as Jep's doing that, I'm going to give him the Twitter time to come
Twitter
over here.
time?
The Twitter time. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/ThatNickJones. G2, no, what is it? gplus.to/NickJones and nickjones.me. Follow Jacob on Twitter, twitter.com/freakinghuge, FREAKINHUGE, and jfroberts.me and gplus.to/freakinghuge. And you can follow Carlo on Twitter, twitter.com/CarloBrown, and he is a contributor over at theteenagehackers.com. Carlo
That's
likes...
so posh.
Yeah. Jacob like made...
so posh.
Yeah. Anyway, Carlo, thanks for joining us once again. So until next time, I'm Nick Jones.
I'm Jacob Roberts.
I'm Carlo Brown. And
Yay.
apparently I'm a teenage hacker, according to Joe.
And see you guys next time on Tech Weekly.
Thank you.